Hello guys, this is going to be a quick video on how to make lighting for professional scene. Now with this, there are things you need to consider before we start the lighting. So your render setting does really matter. Your scene settings does really matter. So depending on the software you are using, you need to have a nice scene and render setup. I'm using Blender for this video, but any other software you use, the technique I'm sure will be similar. So for the first thing we are going to do is let's go to our render settings, make it cycles. Cycles in Blender is the best for rendering. Then I'm going to denoise the scene. That is my viewport. This is not going to be a rendered version. I'm going to give it 56. Samples of 56 is okay. For this one, I'll give it 126. That is for the render version. 120 samples of 126 is too much. It's not too much. It's okay. It's not too much. It's not too less. Now you have to be aware of this. You have to keep this view transform and look, leave the view transform on filmic and have it at high contrast. This gives the best result I find. That is how you set up the settings for the color management. And as for now, that is all you need to do. Now let's go to the render view in the viewport. So now the first light I'll be adding to brighten up our scene, it's the area light or area lamp, whatever. But first, let's go to our wall settings and make this 0. I don't want any walls lighting to interfere with the lighting we are going to do now. I just want to make example just the lights in Blender. So now we go first and add a light. So now we have the point lamp and the area light. I will be adding the area light first. So add it, bring it here, bring it to the top. Now you see it's brightening up the scene. It's giving a little bit of light. You can see the cube. I will bring it down a little bit. The position matters, so vary of the position where you keep your light in the scene, it matters. Any movement or any position you give the light, it is going to affect your object and the scene. All right. So we come to the and increase the light intensity. I'm going to have the power at 500 for now. Let's see what we have. This is really bright. Now we have a well lit up light in our scene, but we have this problem where the shadow is directly behind the object that we are lighting, which is this cube. And now the major problem, our major concern is not with the shadow, but with the perception we are having from the scene because of how we place the light. Now you can see that it looks flat. It just looks like a 2D image and with some amateur shading on it. We don't want to give the viewer a 2D perspective. We want to create a little bit of depth to our object and differentiate the object from the background using the shadow direction and also the light direction. So for now, I'm going to leave this area light at the position that it is, and I will be adding an area lamp, a point lamp, point lamp, or a point light. English is too difficult for me. All right. So while I add this lamp, the light, the point light, I'm going to use it to give my shadows and my lighting, the reflection a little bit a sense of direction. So create the points, use the point light, add it, move it up a little bit, move it to the right direction or the left direction. I'll be moving my own to the left direction. I like to have it on the left lots of the times. And then this I will be increasing the intensity times 2 of the area lamp. So now let's give this 1000. And now you can see we have the point lamp, and now it gives the shadow. It changes the direction of the shadow. It takes it from the behind to the right side of our object. But I think the intensity on this is too much. Let's try to move the point light and see what we have. So what you're going to do is move it like to this space, and then move it backward, move it here again, move it upward, and here we have something decent. You can see we are beginning to create a sense of depth in our scene. You can begin to identify the difference between your background and your shadow, and the light itself. You now have a sense of feeling or direction that the light is coming from somewhere, and you can predict. With this thing, you can know that the light is coming from the left side of our scene, because this part, it is dominant, more dominant with the reflection, and then the shadow falls at the side. Of course, you can go further and pull it back, pull it to this side a little bit, or let's just keep it here. Okay, so now you can see that our shadow is too harsh. I'm not even going to call it a bit harsh. We have really harsh shadow, which in reality you don't have this much of a harsh shadow. And to decrease it, you will come to the point lamp, you come to the settings and increase the radius. When you increase the radius, you will see that it begins to become less and less harsh, and it's becoming soft. So you will want to keep a soft shadow. Now you see that I have it at 0.2 meters of radius. You can see that the shadow is a little bit soft now than what we used to have. But let's try 1 or 0.5. This is too soft. 0.5. Now you can see the shadow. It's a little bit soft, but you can't see the shadow now, and that is what we want. And then bring this, leave it at this, and I will love to increase the intensity of this also. And our scene is getting a little bit brighter, which is no problem, as long as it's not too bright that it kills your eye. If you are epileptic, don't go for too much brightness, or try as much as possible not to go for too much brightness, but bright enough for your audience or your viewer to see what is actually happening in the scene, depending on what you want to convey with the light. Okay, so now with this, let's see what more we can do. All right, so now with this also, you can see that it's the space that this reflection gives is much. You can reduce the size of the area light, and then maybe to this, and you see you're having a little bit of shadow on this side like this, which is the core, and then you have your highlight here, and then it's casting shadow at this side. All right, so let's try to, I want to have more of a core here. I want to have more of a dark shade here to be able to identify the depth. And let's move it back a bit. Now you can see the shading here, it's becoming a little bit stronger, maybe too strong. Then I come here and I leave it at 1, and now we have this. But this side now is too it's too dark. The shading here is too much. It doesn't really look as nice. We want to have a little bit of highlight right on this side. So you can decide to add another lamp. You can use the area light, move it here, then change the direction, the rotation I mean. And now this is too bright. Let's have it at 100 and see what we have, and move it forward a little bit, and move it here. And now you can see that although you're seeing, let's give this 50. Now you can see that although you're seeing this lit up, you still are able to maintain a little bit of depth. Okay, so now this light is a little bit harsh. That is why it's having these harsh shadows, and I want to avoid this high shading here. And the best way I can achieve this is make the area lamp soft. So how can we make it soft? In Blender, you need something that will cover this and make it a little bit soft. I will be using a plane for that. So create a plane, move it here. I'm going to copy, Control C, copy the location, Control C, copy rotation. Move it a little bit further from the light, make it smaller a little bit, then Control P it so that whenever I move the light, it goes along with the plane. And then this plane, you can see that it's literally covering the scene. We don't want that to happen, and also it's blocking the light. You can see now you have a lot of more shadow. What you can do is add shade to this. So I'll go to the shader editor, create a new shade, delete this principal shader, and add a translucent BDSF connected to the surface. And now that you have a translucent PC, translucent BSDF, let's delete this. We don't need it anymore since we have used the translucent shader to create the to make this lighting soft. I'm going to be deleting this. We don't need it anymore. Also for this plane, it's showing in the scene. We don't want it to show in the scene, so I will go to the object properties, go to visibility, and just off it. And now we have this. And if you move the light closer, you see what you have. The shadow is a bit harsher, but you still are able to maintain this soft transitioning. It's not the shading here, which is the core. It's not all the way harsh like it used to be before. We have a little bit of soft transitioning. Then it gets to these parts which gets more darker. So let's move this back a little bit more. And then what we can do is now increase the size to, let's say, 2 or 1.5. 2 seems a little bit much. And then also increase this. And yeah, this is what we have now. And can just keep moving around the lights till you have some shadows, some depth. I can move this backward or move this like this. I want my shadow to fall slightly behind my object and slightly behind side my object, something like this. And now you can see that you have this, which is the core. You have something like this shadow that goes all the way like this to this part, and then you have your drop shadow here, and then you have this place is a little bit brighter. Let's add shader to this, also shading to this. So now in this part of the sphere is a little bit brighter, and then you have this part that shows that the light with the or the dominant light is coming from this side. So of course you will be having a little bit of shadow also here, or shade, and then you have your shadow. And then this light is just there to basically lit the whole scene and equalize everything. So now this is how you use lights in Blender. Now take notes, or in any 3D program. These are photography ideas that I've taken from reality. So if you take up photography classes, or maybe watch some photography classes on YouTube, or get a course, or go to an actual photographer and take some classes, and then translate those knowledge to Blender, that is how you'll be able to make good to decent lighting to professional lighting in your 3D work. So yeah, this is how you can use the point lamp light and the area light to create a scene that has depth in it, that is the object, and to the background. So yeah, thank you for watching my video. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. It helps me reach a wider audience.